I did a job recently that really got in my head. It messed me up for about a week or so, and I didn't know what to think. And my 9-year-old daughter really snapped me out of it. I want to share that story with you, mainly because I wanted this channel to be about entrepreneurship and family. I want to document my journey into entrepreneurship, my side hustles, and my aspirations for working for myself, show you how that integrates with family, and then also inspire you to carve your own path, to take the steps to be better today than yesterday, and decide to do something and take control of the path that you're on. So I'm going to tell you this story, and then you can decide whether I was at fault, or the homeowner, or whether things just happen. And I'm going to try to give you all the details that I think are relevant so you understand the situation. This client calls me up. They were referred by somebody that has referred me multiple times, and I have never done work for them before. But they watched me climb someone else's tree. And I got the job, but it was bid, and there was a lot of trees on the property. And the bid came out to a little over $3,000, $4,000, depending on whether they were going to clean up the brush or whether I was. And it kind of came to the conclusion that they were going to clean up some of it and I was going to clean up some of it. And I got started. And the first day, I took care of these 3 locust trees that were growing over a privacy fence and over the garage and kind of over another tree in their backyard. And I took care of the 3 locust trees in one day, and I went up to the front yard and I took care of a big hanger that was in the driveway. And that was the first day. And then I had to schedule to come out again, so I did. And the second day, I was going to tackle this really big tree. I'm not sure if it was a locust or a walnut, but it had some damage in the center of it. But I was going to tackle that tree. And my assumption, and what they kind of told me, was that tree, $1,000 to get it on the ground and $1,000 to clean it up. So it was going to be $2,000. But when I went to go do it, they're like, we can clean it up ourselves. So it'd be more like $1,000. But we also want this other tree taken care of. And I was like, well, we didn't talk about that. I didn't give you a price on that one. So I looked at it. This one had a privacy fence on one side, a chain link fence on the other side, no drop zone. Everything would have to be roped out, including the logs. And I'm thinking, okay, this one is a little bit more hairy. And especially if they're going to clean it up themselves, I don't want to do this thing for no $1,000. And my wife recommended $1,500. And I'm like, no, that's still not enough. I'm thinking $2,000 for this one. If we're not cleaning any of this stuff up, this is going to be a pain. Also, there's vines growing all up the side of it, and it's going to be a pain in the neck. So I gave them $2,000. They weren't too keen on that price, but they accepted it. So instead of tackling the $1,000 tree, I tackled the $2,000 tree. And it took me all day. And we got it down all the way down to the trunk. And where the trunk was vertical, it branched out at an angle after that. I got all that off just to the vertical trunk, and I lost daylight, so that was done. And then I scheduled to come out for a third day. And now this was about a month later because we're in the middle of volleyball season. So this third day, I'm like, all right, can I get everything done this third day? So I was like, I probably should be out there about 9 o'clock. Well, it didn't happen, and I didn't get out there until later. And as soon as I got there, I set my line in that $1,000 tree. I'm thinking, okay, we'll get this down to the ground because it's the hardest. And then once we're done with this, we'll get to the trunk. And as I set my line and I went up, I knew there was a bad spot, but there was no dead limbs in the top. The rest of the tree looked fine except for this one bad spot. And I'm thinking, it's healthy enough. It'll hold my weight. It'll hold roping out and everything. It'll be okay. And as I'm working my way up the tree, I hear it creaking. And I'm thinking, that's not a good sign. Let's go inspect that bad spot and see if it can actually handle my weight. And I climbed over there, I looked inside, and it's completely dried out. It's rotten, it has cracks in it, vertical cracks, and there didn't look to be very much good wood there to hold at all. I can't do this tree. It's a bucket tree because if I roped out the top the way I was planning on, then the shock load of the branches, because I'd have to rope them onto themselves, and it would jerk on the tree a little bit, it could snap that broken spot right off, and I would be tied into it, and I wouldn't live to see another day. So without a bucket, I couldn't do this tree, and I don't use a bucket, so I'm thinking I can't do this tree. I came down. I actually took video of it so I could show the homeowner, and I showed them the rotten spot, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this one. And they said, okay. So I climbed up into the other tree, and I started roping out those chunks of wood. And on the second chunk, I had the rope that was wrapped around that chunk was also around a vine, and that vine didn't get cut. So when it fell out, the vine held onto the rope and stripped it off of the chunk of wood, and it came down and smashed the fence. So I smashed the homeowner's chain link fence. And I talked to the homeowner, and I was like, hey, we can come tomorrow and fix this. We can put a new top post in and we can fix your fence. And they said, okay. But they sent a text message to the client saying, hey, if they don't fix this to our liking, then you're still going to have to claim your homeowner's insurance to get this done. And the homeowner sent me that text message. I was like, no. We'll fix it. And worst case scenario, I have $1,000 deductible, but we could claim my insurance and we'll get it taken care of. This is not a homeowner's expense. This would be on my business insurance. We came out the next day, and me and my brother-in-law, we fixed the fence, and I wasn't super happy with it. Everything wasn't perfectly in a straight line, but the homeowner kept saying, oh no, you put enough work in, it's good. We can't really see it from the house anyways, you're good. So we left. And I went home for a minute. I said, I have to go home for a second and I'll be back. So I went home and grabbed the trailer and came back so we could get the top post on the trailer. And I messaged the client and said, hey, I'll be back to take care of those trees in the front yard. And they said, no, we decided not to do those front trees. That was about $400 to $500, something around there. And when I came back, I didn't answer them, and I came back to get that top post, and I spoke to her in person. I was like, if you don't mind me asking, why are we not moving forward with that? Are you upset with the way I handled the fence? Oh, no. The fence is fine. I went back there, I looked at it, it looks good. The fence is fine. We're okay with the way you handled that. I was like, okay. Well, was it because of that tree that I couldn't do? Because we planned on doing it. I mean, I almost feel like it's broken promises because I told you I'd take care of it and I can't. No. We understand that. It's like, okay, so, and she's like, well, we feel like we're a little burned. Well, how so? Well, because you said that you would be here at so-and-so time and you weren't, and you showed up late. And then the next week it happened again. And every time that you've come out here, it's happened that you showed up later than what you told us. And I was like, so it wasn't any of the other stuff? No. It's just you showing up late. She's like, we live according to schedule. And we expected you to be here, and you weren't. Well, that really bothered me because they said that I burned them, that I offended them. They felt like I did them wrong. Now, I will tell you that when I first approached them with this job, I told them I don't work like on Saturdays. I like to spend time with my family. I have coffee in the morning, we have breakfast, and then I eventually get outside and I load my truck and I go to work. But I might not be here until like 10 or 11 o'clock. And they said, okay. And I was like, you don't have to be here. Oh, no, we'll be here. So the first week, I told them I probably wouldn't be there about 10 or 11, and it was probably more like 11:30 by the time I got there the first week. But I told them that's what to expect. Well, by the time I actually got in the tree and got started, it was much later than I really wanted. And I had anticipations because my eyes are always bigger than what I can actually pull off. Things are always harder than I imagine. They always take longer than I imagine. So I looked at this and I'm like, I really wanted to do more than what I did. So the second time that I scheduled to come out, I told them I plan on being there at 9 o'clock because I didn't get there as early as I wanted to last time and I want to get more done. Well, that second time, I didn't get there by 9 o'clock. Now, every time that I was showing up later, I messaged them, I called them, I let them know. This is the time that you can expect me. Hey, I'll probably be there before noon. But the second time, I showed up about 11 o'clock. And then the third time, I did not realize that I gave them a time. That was my wife. I did not realize that I gave them a time the third time. And I didn't get to bed until 1 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And I was like, this is so hard on the body that I need my sleep. So I'm not setting an alarm. I'll get there whenever I get there. And when I woke up at 9:30 in the morning. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, did I give them a time? So I opened up my messages and I realized, I did give them a time. So I shot her a message and let her know, hey, I just woke up. Didn't realize that I gave you guys a time, but I'll be there before noon sometime. And she didn't really answer me. And I tried to call her and she didn't really answer me. So I was like, all right, so got ready, got coffee and whatnot. And we got out and I was probably going to be there about 10:30 or 11. And then I got a phone call. I was on call with my day job and I got called out. And I got called out somewhere that was really far away and it was going to take me 3 hours to get it done. So I had to tell her like, hey, I was on my way, but I got called out with the main job. And what happened is I've been going to all these tournaments with my daughters for volleyball. And I wasn't really on call this week. But a week that I was on call, one of my coworkers took my on-call weekend so I could go to that tournament. So when he asked me if I would take his on-call for this weekend, I couldn't turn him down. I felt like it was only fair because I'm always busy. I always have something going on. And it was only fair. So the chances of me getting called out were very slim. But I did get called out. And I didn't get to the job site until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So the day that I tried to tackle the $1,000 tree and it didn't work, and I tackled the tree trunk instead, and essentially I just got the trunk down and that was it.
Hey, handsome.
I didn't get there until 2 o'clock. And then the next day I fixed the fence. And then they pretty much said, yeah, we don't want you doing any more for us. So to me, I had a contractor working on my kitchen. And if he told me he planned on being there at 9 o'clock and he didn't show up till 11, I would have thought he had to go to Menards buy materials, or he had to go to another client's house and take care of business, or whatever. Whatever the case may be, he works on his own timetable. We agreed that he would take care of my kitchen. Didn't agree on when it was going to be done or when he would be here. And if he didn't show up when he said that he was going to, it's not going to bother me. And that's kind of how I feel when I operate my own business. That I'm doing this on the side. I'm already like working all over the place. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm agreeing to a price. But when I get it done, and I still believe that I should keep open lines of communication, that if I am not going to get there when I said I was aiming for, then I try to message them and let them know. But was I wrong? Was I wrong for not showing up at the 9 o'clock? I don't know. But I will tell you that it bothered me a lot. Because not only did they get offended because I didn't show up when I said I would or planned on, but I also smashed the fence. And I felt like I was nothing but a backyard hack. Again, I had another video, Are You a Professional? Ran into a situation to where I couldn't do a job and I felt like who am I to do anything? And then I felt the same way on this one because I smashed the fence. And I know in my tree groups on Facebook, guys smash fences all the time, but I felt horrible. And it just ate at me all week long. Was I in the wrong? Was I the one that was messing up? Was I unprofessional? Did I disrespect them? Did I not value their time? Is it all my fault? And I also lost about $1,500 on this job too. And we needed that. So that bothered me. And then my wife told me that my 9-year-old daughter has been on a kick lately, like ranting and raving about how hard I work for them and how much I do and how I work my day job. And then I go out and I do tree work and I do all of that for them. And she sees that and she recognizes that and she wants to do something special for me. And she wanted to know what my favorite candy bar was so she could give me my favorite candy bar. And she wanted a daddy day where they could just spend time with me and have a day, just me and them, and have a daddy day so we could spend time together and give me gifts because of all the things I do for them, because she understands that all of the work is for them. And while I'm lost in my head, it made me tear up. Actually, a couple of times, because my wife brought it up a couple of times, and it made me tear up. And it kind of snapped me out of it that maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I didn't. But my intentions were right. And I've ran into other situations in my life, personal relationships, to where I didn't intend to offend them. Maybe I took the easy route. I have some people now that I don't talk to. Like, they hate me pretty much. And maybe that was my fault. I don't know. But I know that my intentions were right. And I tried. And I wasn't intentionally doing anybody wrong. I'm in this situation, I'm not intentionally trying to offend anybody or do anybody dirty. What I'm intending to do is to provide for my family. And I'm working hard to do that. So, with that being said, it snapped me out of it. It made me realize, like, I'm trying. And maybe next time I need to communicate better. Let them know you don't have to be here. And the times that I give you, I'm only aiming for those times. But if I decide to spend time with my family, if I decide to have breakfast or coffee or sleep in because the job is a physically demanding job and I know I need my rest, so be it. Maybe I just need more clear expectations to the client. And that's kind of what I took away from this, is their expectations were not met. And maybe if I was more clear about what they should expect from me, I mean, that's one reason why my prices are a little bit cheaper than the other guy, because they have a 5-man crew and I'm doing this and my daughters and my wife help me. They help me drag brush. They help me rope the limbs out, and it goes a lot slower. You should expect me to be here more often, and it's going to take longer, but that's one reason why it's cheaper. This is what to expect. And moving forward, I think that clear expectations might make happy customers, so they know what to expect. I'm not going to change up the way I handle things. I'm not going to change up if I decide to sleep in. What I will change up is telling them what to expect. So what do you think? Was I in the wrong? Were they in the wrong? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? How do you operate your side hustles in your business? As a homeowner, maybe, how would you feel in this situation? I know that my contractor, like when he showed up late or when jobs didn't get done as quick as my wife thought they would, because she really, really wanted that kitchen done, she got a little restless. And she wasn't really angry, but she was restless because I want this done, to where I'm more chill and laid back. And I can understand how other people would feel the same way. How would you feel? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I thought, I thought for all of you trying to operate your own business, it'd be good to share my experience. And yeah, I don't have anything else to add. I don't have any lessons or anything else. But it's not going to stop me from moving forward. It's not going to stop me from trying to provide for my family. And it might change up the way I handle future clients. She's probably the second client out of all of doing business that have really had a problem with the way I operate. Maybe that's why it bothers me so much, because I do care. I don't know. Like always, work harder and smarter. Stay diligent.